Welcome to This Explainer. If you own a property in Shaker Heights, you already know the absolute charm of that classic 1920s architecture. But let's be real, you probably also know that low-level anxiety that creeps in the second the sky turns dark over Lake Erie. We're talking about protecting your historic Northeast Ohio home from the brutal realities of local weather and, frankly, some pretty complex roofing codes. Let's just dive right in. I want to start by validating the very real struggle you face maintaining these older homes against the relentless weather assaults we get up here. You know, you aren't just dealing with normal rain. Your roof is actively battling heavy lake effect snow, rapid freeze-thaw cycles in the spring that violently expand and crack your shingles, and those crazy straight-line summer winds rolling off the lake. So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the Shaker Heights weather war, the 4 horsemen of roof damage, the 10-50-50 replacement rule, cracking the cost code, and finally, spotting the roofing scams. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the Shaker Heights weather war. Now, an ice dam is one of your biggest, stealthiest enemies. It's really one of the most destructive local phenomena you'll encounter, especially for older homes in neighborhoods like Sussex or Malvern, where that original attic insulation might be, well, a bit lacking. Picture this. Heavy snow melts on the warmer top parts of your roof, flows down, and hits the freezing cold eaves. It refreezes right there, creating a literal dam of ice. And what happens next? It forces backing up water right under your shingles and, yep, straight into your living room ceiling. Moving right along to Section 2, the 4 horsemen of roof damage. So when you're out on your Saturday morning walk around the property, these are the 4 horsemen you actually need to watch out for. First up, the ice dam water intrusion we just talked about. Second, wind-damaged shingles. Straight-line winds tearing off architectural shingles is incredibly common, especially over in the Van Aken district. Third, failed flashing systems. Those are the metal seals around your chimneys and skylights that dry out and crack over time. And fourth, moss and algae growth degrading the asphalt. This happens incredibly fast if your home sits under that heavy, beautiful tree canopy in Attleboro. Next up, Section 3, the 10-50-50 replacement rule. This brings us to the absolute ultimate question every homeowner dreads, right? When is it time to replace your roof rather than just patch it up? It's stressful, it's expensive, but I'm going to give you a super simple, totally unemotional heuristic to solve it. I want you to burn this concrete mathematical rule into your brain, the 10-50-50 rule. Seriously, it's a brilliant way to cut through all the noise and make a smart financial decision about your property. The logic here is actually incredibly straightforward. Here's how it works. If your roof is under 50% of its expected lifespan and the contractor's repair estimate is less than 10% of what a brand new roof would cost, you repair it. Super simple. But if your 20-year roof is past year 10, so over 50% of its lifespan, and patching up that valley leak is going to cost more than 10% of a full replacement, it is financially much smarter to just invest in a new roof. Do not throw good money at a failing structural system. Okay, Section 4, cracking the cost code. Once you decide to replace, you might be a little shocked by the estimates. So it's crucial to understand this breakdown. 60% of your total expense is purely skilled labor, with the other 40% being materials and disposal. You aren't just paying a premium for fancy shingles. You are paying for intense physical labor, safety equipment, steep pitch maneuvering, and the exhausting process of tearing off old, heavy materials. And let me tell you, this intense labor is entirely justified. Cuyahoga County enforces really strict building codes to ensure your historic home survives those vicious freeze-thaw cycles we talked about earlier. Contractors aren't just making this stuff up. They have to rigorously enforce the 2020 International Residential Code. They have to pull permits for any work over 100 square feet. They're legally required to install specialized ice barriers on shallower pitches, calculate exactly 1 square foot of venting for every 150 square feet of attic space, and manually drive 6 to 8 nails into every single shingle to prevent wind shear. It's a highly engineered process, guys. The code also strictly dictates your materials, and this is a common failure point I really want to highlight. Say you have a standard pitch of 412 or higher. You can use standard 3-tab or architectural shingles. But if a contractor tries to put standard shingles on a low-slope 212 pitch roof, they are completely violating manufacturer warranties and local codes. Low-slope roofs demand specialized materials, things like modified bitumen or EPDM rubber. Otherwise, water is just going to pool and back up under your shingles the second an ice dam forms. Because of all this complexity, a reputable contractor will follow a clean, straightforward 3-phase process so you know exactly what timeline to expect. Step 1 is the inspection and estimate.
which usually takes 24 to 48 hours. Step 2 is the actual installation and repair, taking about 2 to 3 days for a typical home. And Step 3 is the final inspection and a formal handover of your warranty documents.
Finally, Section 5, spotting the roofing scams. Let's open up the defense playbook. When you're hiring, always look for these specific green flags: heavily itemized estimates, local references right here in Shaker Heights, solid proofs of liability insurance, and a promise that they will handle the complicated county permits. On the flip side, you need to immediately walk away if you spot red flags like storm chasers knocking on your door the morning after a bad storm, out-of-state licenses, high-pressure cash-only deals, or vague, missing written contracts. Now for a fascinating little piece of negotiation psychology. If you were standing in your driveway talking to a roofer, what should you absolutely never say?
Seriously, never say any of these things. Admitting, I haven't gotten other estimates or my budget is unlimited instantly destroys your negotiating leverage. Saying I know nothing about roofing makes you a super easy target for upselling. But the absolute worst thing you can do is ask, can we just skip the permit to save money? No way. Cutting corners in strictly coded Shaker Heights creates a massive structural and legal liability for you down the line. It is literally never worth the short-term savings.
And speaking of savings, there is a hard truth you really need to hear. Shaker Heights homeowners should not delay necessary repairs hoping for price drops. Deferred maintenance worsens over time, leading to costlier structural repairs. If you're thinking of waiting until next year to fix a problem because you're hoping inflation cools down or something, remember that winter storm damage compounds incredibly fast. A tiny flashing leak today is rotten wooden decking tomorrow. So I want to leave you with this final thought. Is your beautiful, historic roof surviving the weather war, or has it silently surrendered to the four horsemen while you weren't looking? Don't wait for a small leak to become a massive structural disaster. Check your roof's age, run that 10-50-50 rule we talked about, and take control of your home's health today. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.